Welcome back. You are still watching Market View, and onto this now. The stock market is often seen as a barometer of economic confidence, reflecting how businesses and investors respond to both local and global conditions. Over the last year, the Eswatini Stock Exchange has been shaped by limited listings and very little trading activity. Now we want to know the factors that influenced market performance last year, the opportunities and risks that could define this year, and what can be done to stimulate activity. And I'm now joined by Eswatini Stock Exchange Chief Executive Smanga Mdluli. Good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Afternoon, thank you for having me.
Right, let's kick things off with the structure of the Eswatini Stock Exchange. And when you look at the exchange, how does it compare perhaps to other exchanges in the region?
Thank you for the question, Rutsile. So yes, the Eswatini Stock Exchange is quite comparable to other similar size exchanges in SADC and the region. So our exchange is structured as such. We have the main board where you get the larger corporations being listed on it that can raise in excess of 5 million Malangeni and above. We also have an SME board, which obviously is tailored for SMEs, has slightly less stringent requirements. And for that, listed SMEs can actually raise between 50,000 and up to 5 million Malangeni. And then we also have a debt board where you find government bonds as well as corporate bonds being listed. Those are the three boards that we have.
Right. And what's your sentiment or at least interpretation of how the Eswatini Stock Exchange has grown? We're looking at now a market capitalization of over 6.9 billion Malangeni.
Yes, thank you. So 6.9 billion Malangeni for Eswatini, for a country with the population that Eswatini has, is relatively okay. It's good, but it also signals growth because it hasn't always been 6.9 billion Malangeni. It has grown to that amount. And it will continue to grow. We are confident that with the strategy and the strategic pillars that we have in place, we believe that we will be able to bring on more activity onto the exchange, and we should see that number continue to grow. So, you know, I think relatively speaking, because you want to compare ourselves to similar size exchanges, it's not very fair to compare us to a JSE, for example, which is a much larger exchange, has been established for the longest time, and South Africa has a much larger population than we do. So it tends to be an outlier, and we don't compare ourselves so much to them. But when it comes to a comparison against other similar size exchanges, it's relatively good. And like I say, it signals growth. We're expecting to see that market capitalization number go up.
Speaking of growth, how many companies are currently listed on the Eswatini Stock Exchange as we looking at how, you know, the year's just starting out?
Right,
so we're starting out the year with how many companies exactly on the exchange, and what are the sectors that they currently represent?
Very interesting question. Interesting because as of last Friday, you're right to say we're just starting out the year. And we've had a very good start to the year because as of last Friday, we had our 10th listing. So all along, we had 9 companies listed on exchange. As of Friday, we now have 10 listing with the addition of XBAC, which is a special purpose acquisition company that was listed on Friday that will actually focus in the agricultural space. So to answer your second question there, the sectors that are represented, we have retail, we have banking, we have the agri space. So yeah, it's not as diverse as we'd like it to be, but it's growing, and we're moving in the right direction.
And in terms of diversification, is it not somewhat an improvement when you look at how EXA came in and they currently have 11 million in shares with a market value of at least 11 million in Malangeni, and it did boost the listing by at least total market cap of 0.16%. Doesn't that speak to diversification, improved investor sentiment on the Eswatini Stock Exchange?
Most definitely. It does speak to improved investor sentiment. Well, certainly we hope it will translate to that. As soon as those shares start trading, we expect and we hope that Eswatini will actually come on board and start trading and buying and selling those shares. But yes, it does also speak to diversity in the sense that The SPAC in AgSPAC, which is spelled SPAC, like I say, it stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. And what it is, it's a holding company whose job really will be to collect funds from investors and then basically look to allocate it to worthwhile investments in the agriculture space. So a SPAC listing was actually the first of its, well, not the first of its kind, but in agriculture. A SPAC that's actually for agriculture is the first of its kind. And so, yes, it speaks to diversity. And what I like about it, obviously, is our economy, Eswatini, is an agriculture-based economy. So this actually is in line with I would say, national interests.
We've had 9 companies listed on the Eswatini Stock Exchange for so long.
Right.
And now to have this new entrant, making it the 10th, what does it say, you know, when you look at the challenges that have perhaps limited listing or entry on the Eswatini Stock Exchange for so long?
Yeah, we've been challenged in the past, and really the main thing, I think, would be a lack of financial literacy amongst our population. I think as a stock exchange and our members, the brokers, transfer secretaries, and everybody that's involved in this space, have the challenge now and an opportunity to go out there and try as best as possible to demystify the stock exchange for Eswatini. Eswatini right now, they currently view the stock exchange as something that's not accessible to the everyday person. People are of the impression that the stock exchange is for the elite, the rich people, high net worth individuals, when the truth is the stock exchange can actually be made to work for the larger economy. It should be able to work for everybody. So that's what we're looking at to do with our strategy, with our new strategy, is to emphasize inclusivity. So the stock exchange is supposed to be doing amazing things for our economy, but also for every individual in the country.
Yeah. You have just rewritten the narrative. You are saying the Eswatini Stock Exchange is available for everyone to trade.
Of course.
Given that, what are the trading platforms that the exchange uses to then facilitate the buying and selling of securities?
So I'm happy to announce that so our stock exchange is actually automated. So we have an automated trading system. So it's not a bunch of people just sitting there crunching numbers on the computer. It's actually automated. We have an automated trading system where if one individual decides to buy shares, the system actually then matches that buy order with somebody else's order who's looking to sell. So it actually happens automatically. It's all automated. We have our trading operations department, as well as our monitoring and surveillance departments at the exchange, whose job is to ensure that everything is done in order. And we also then have the CSD, which is a Central Securities Depository, which actually keeps record of all the shares that have been bought and all the money that's been exchanged for those. So it's all automated, and that actually happens at the central bank. So yeah, I can assure Eswatini and the nation that anything and everything that happens on exchange is automated, it's transparent, and can be trusted.
Right, and what would be then the core listing and compliance requirements that a company would have to meet in order to be admitted and maintained on the Eswatini Stock Exchange? What does it take to actually even make it to to that market?
Yeah, so as I'd mentioned, that's a good question. As I'd mentioned before, there'll be different requirements for different boards. I've mentioned the SME board, as well as the main board. But in all honesty, everything that happens on the exchange requires that there's a lot of transparency and a lot of disclosure that's happening. So, for instance, we'll definitely want to see that company is audited so that they can share the audited financial statements with us so we can track their performance. They have to be profitable. definitely have to be at least profitable for the past 3 years before they list, if they're looking to list on the exchange. And what's really, really big is governance. So we want an entity that has excellent governance. We want to make sure that they have a board. So even if you are an SME, we want to make sure that you have a board and that it's not just the founder that's making decisions as to where money is invested and where it goes. So if people are going to give you their money, we want to make sure that you at least have a team that's making decisions on how your company is going to grow, because it has to grow if you're going to be able to pay back those investors' funds.
And when you say profitability, there's no specific margin there?
Not a specific margin. Like I say, what's important though is that we should see a trend. So like I'm saying, if we look back 3 years, 5 years, we should see that you've been profitable at least for that 3 years continuously. So it's not necessarily the margin, but definitely the trend. If you're profitable for the past 3 years, we're obviously hoping that your profitability is growing rather than declining.
Right. You mentioned that you're very considerate of transparency.
Right.
How does then the Eswatini Stock Exchange detect, prevent, and certainly respond to market manipulation or, to some extent, suspected insider trading?
Right. It's another very good question. And so I'd already mentioned that 2 of the departments that we do have at the Eswatini Stock Exchange. We have a trading and operations department. So we've got people there that just sit and make sure that every trade that goes through our system is one that has been vetted and it's on the up and up. We also have the marketing and the monitoring and surveillance department. And what they do is just basically to monitor every trade once again and ensure that everything that is being done, if a director of a company is looking to buy shares, that has to be declared. Actually, it's also true for the staff members at Eswatini Stock Exchange. I can't, for example, just decide to up and buy shares tomorrow or sell shares if I hold any. I'd have to declare that, because then somebody has to monitor and ensure that I'm not doing it because I have now insider information. So we have those types of policies that definitely look to see that we are adhering to those standards.
Right. New year, new entrant, or new listing, if I should be specific using that term. Already there's optimism here. We're hoping that we could see more listings by the end of the year. But when you look at how the year has just started out, what signals then should, be investors looking out for to assess if the Eswatini Stock Exchange is worth going into, is on a sustainable growth path, or it remains a relatively niche market?
Well, thank you for that. And I think what we are going to be intentional about as a Eswatini Stock Exchange is to get out there and, like I say, demystify the Eswatini Stock Exchange to the normal person on the street. So please do expect to see a lot of noise coming out of the exchange. Our staff members will be out spreading the word. We are going to be working with our partners, the brokers, whom we license to actually trade on the exchange on behalf of investors. We're going to be requesting that, they also improve on their systems as well, so that they can attract more of these investors to come and list, and so we can see more activity on the exchange. So yeah, please do expect to see a lot more noise being coming out of the exchange. We expect good news coming from the exchange. We actually expect more listings very early in the year. Actually, in the first half of 2026, we do expect to see at least 2 more listings on our exchange. So that should give Maswati the confidence that things are moving in the right way. We have there's been a change, obviously a strategic change. We have a new board, we have a new CEO, and for that, we're hoping that they're coming with ideas that will bring about change and a lot more activity on the exchange.
Right, CEO, thank you very much for your time. That was Simang Mduli, CEO of the Eswatini Stock Exchange, talking to us about the outlook for the exchange, the new entries that they've just seen, or the new listing that we've just seen this past week, and certainly the outlook for the rest of the year for the Eswatini Stock Exchange. Stay with us. The show continues after this.
Eswatini TV.